Pinpoint asteroids in orbit, then hurl y'all thousands of miles an hour towards it.
There's been a few claims made about what the Maine Surveyor has said in certain conversations with a few individuals on the flat earth side. So I just wanted to get some fresh eyes on this previous debate between Bev and the Maine Surveyor. Shout out to MC Toon for allowing me to mirror this on my channel. Also, a big shout out to the late George Natchik, who makes an appearance towards the end of this video, who unfortunately passed away this year. The link to the full 3-hour debate will be in the description. Enjoy.
Hello there, I'm MC Toon, the worst rapper in the world. How are you doing today? It's good to have you. It is a little early. This is a 3 p.m. for me. A lot of the time, if I have a guest from England, I'll go 4 p.m., which is 10 for them. But we have the Maine Surveyor who has just a certain amount of time, and so he's setting up to do it now, and he had to go earlier. So we do not yet have anybody connected. Bev is currently trying to connect, and let's see, I think he's on. So Bev, can you hear me? I don't hear back from Bev.
Hey, can you hear?
There we go.
What's going on here?
We've got you. I can hear you. But I don't know about Cleary or the Maine Surveyor. So we will, you can talk as you want, Bev, they can hear you, but so I'll cover a couple things. I saw just yesterday, I went and saw Charlie Duke speak, and that was very exciting. Charlie Duke was the 10th man on the moon. He he went in April of 1972. I got this photograph here that I printed out. It was a scan of the original that's housed in Houston, and then I printed it. I cropped it. It was larger. I wanted him a little more towards the center. So there you go. Can you see? He signed it even. It's not in focus there. A little bit of focus. You can even see the reflection of the chat going there. People, say hi to yourselves. You can see the chat. So there you go. That was cool. He is quite a good speaker. It was a lot of fun. I had lunch with him on Sunday even. So yes. So people asking, Sir Pickapup the Benevolent, was Duke the guy speaking to the Apollo 11 crew for the moon landings? Yes, he was Capcom for Apollo 11. So very exciting. He said on the way back, shortly after they headed back from the moon, they had to go outside and get like the film, and there was some experiments that were on the outside that they needed to bring on the inside. So the guy who Young, he went down to the surface with Young, but he stayed orbiting with, who cares? He didn't go on the moon. I forgot his name, the third guy, but he had to go out and get that. And so Charlie Duke was the one that was like outside in the hatch, making sure that all the cables and wires and umbilical cord basically did not get hung up. And he's like, he looked over and he saw the Earth, and it was because of the time and the angle and everything, just saw a sliver of the Earth. And he turned around and they're still close to the moon. He's like, the moon was just huge. It's pretty cool. So that's exciting, isn't it, Bev?
Oh, sorry. I was just trying to get this Zoom thing sorted out.
Oh.
But it's a bit of a silly thing, isn't it? How'd you get your picture on in your OBS? I mean, what?
I just do a screen capture.
Do you do this all the time?
Yes. I like Zoom. Yep.
We're trying to swap over to Discord, right? It's much easier on Discord.
Oh, I find it much easier on here. So it's maybe part of experience. I've dealt with
used this Zoom thing before. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing.
Yep. So you can. I don't know. I don't know how to do screen capture on Discord, but you've done that, so I suppose somehow it should be easy enough to figure out somehow. So I see Cleary is saying it's not working on his phone. Are you on your phone, Bev, or you're on a
No.
desktop?
I'm on
Okay.
PC.
Okay. And we've got the Maine Surveyor is he had a limited time, and so he's I think currently trying to come in. He let's see if he responded to me. He has just a certain amount of time. Like it's 4 p.m. for him, and you can't do surveying from home, Bev, so he
He does what?
You can't do surveying work from home. You actually have to go out to the field. I can write software from home. So
Is that what he does?
Bev, you know what he does.
I don't know.
I want to focus. There we go. Bev, he is a licensed geodetic surveyor in the state of Maine. So
No, I don't.
there you go.
You've just said that to me. He's never said that.
Oh, Bev, you're cute.
Sorry?
I said you're cute. I mean, I don't mean you're
Why?
cute, right? But you're cute.
Well, do you not think he's never said that? He's never said that,
He's
Is
never
it
said that
licensed
he's a
geodetic
licensed
surveyor. Yeah, no, he's never said that.
No, he's not a geodesic. He's a geodetic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. What's the difference?
Geodetic is a word. Geodesic is not what.
Yeah, okay. What's the difference between that and a normal surveyor?
That is it. My goodness, my focus keeps going out. That is a normal surveyor. A geodetic surveyor is a normal surveyor. There is a subset of geodetic surveying that they call planar surveying, which they can't do. The geodetic parts of it because they're not qualified and trained.
What's the difference?
What's the difference?
Please? Yeah.
The difference between a planar surveyor and a geodetic surveyor. So
Yeah,
a planar surveyor can only work in a certain within a certain range because it is if you get into a larger area, you have to take into account the curvature of the Earth. So
What's that? What's that area?
I don't know offhand, but when
I heard
the Maine
it
surveyor
was
is here.
100 square miles that planar surveyors do, and then anything over that is your other type of surveyors, right?
Yeah, it requires geodetic surveyors if you're over that amount.
Over 100.
But it
So
depends.
Up to 100 square miles, that would be planar surveying, right?
Yeah, so it also depends on the margin of error necessary, right? So I suppose if they need a tighter margin of error, then you would not be able to do planar surveying up to 100 square miles. It'd be smaller depending on the needs.
Or you could just do geodetic surveying all the time, then save yourself that trouble.
Oh, so there's
go.
no need for planar surveyors then?
No, you don't have to.
Is that what you just said?
You could
And-
save yourself the trouble of having to convert back and forth, worry about, do I do plane surveying here or do I do geodetic surveying here? Just do geodetic principles all the time and save yourself the problem.
So there is definitely a difference between these surveyors then, right?
Yes.
So what sort of tools would you say a geodetic surveyor plays or uses instead of a normal, just an average surveyor?
I already said, Bev, a normal surveyor is a geodetic surveyor.
Okay, so an auto level then, what sort of tool would that be?
It's an auto level.
Which type of surveyor would use an auto level?
Any surveyor can use an auto level.
Okay, because it establishes a horizontal plane of reference, right?
It establishes a horizontal plane that you would make measurements from, and then you make curvature corrections as you need to.
Curvature corrections within the horizontal plane.
Curvature corrections to your measurements after the fact.
You make curvature corrections to your measurements.
Yes.
Oh. You not just sort of measure what you measure when you look through the scope.
You measure what you measure, you write that down, and then you apply corrections as necessary.
Okay, so when is it necessary for you to apply corrections? Because I've never heard of that.
Well, you can look
Not
at the
surveyor, that's
National
why.
Geodetic Surveyor. You can look at the National Geodetic Survey manual on geodetic leveling. It will tell you.
Okay. Can you not tell us?
I'm sorry?
Can you not tell us
What is it you want me to tell you?
what the when the corrections have to be applied? Because we've got a test, right? Is that what we're talking over tonight?
Yeah. Go back to your question.
Don't test, right?
Wait. Go back to your first question. Then don't segue to the other topic before he gets a chance to answer, though. Right.
Right.
Let him answer. Yeah.
So, Bev, let's get the wordiness out of there. What is it you're asking me?
Which one? McToon's sort of just saying with some other question. We were just talking, weren't we?
Before we get to your test, what do you want to ask?
I don't want to ask you anything. We were here to talk about the test, right?
No.
Or are we just having a little chit chat? What are we here for, McToons, please? I know we've been very vague, like you.
Yeah,
we
didn't.
Talked to Cleary earlier, and then we've been asking what we were meant to be doing here tonight, and you've not said anything. You've given us a link to this Zoom thing. I've clicked it, and now I'm here.
Excellent. Good job.
Right. So what's the format that we're going to be going over tonight?
It's an open format, but I do have a couple things maybe that we could cover kind of in a little structure that might be kind of fun. So I don't know what Cleary's up to. He says that he's not having luck getting it on his phone. So I don't know. Maybe he needs to open some high IQ tabs. What do you think? I could send him some tabs.
You could send him some tabs.
I don't even know where he lives. He's in the U.S., I think. Let's go with that. So, all right. So I think the question Bev was asking was when or how do you apply curvature corrections when you're in the process of doing surveying work?
When you cover a certain distance, you need to start applying curvature corrections if to meet certain accuracy requirements for whatever the project might be.
So can you give an example of what a requirement might be, and then how you'd and what distance might be the right?
Well, actually, plane surveyors do account for curvature anyway in their elevations. So you always need to apply curvature corrections to your elevations. When you're using your theodolite or your total station and you're measuring those distances, you need to apply the 8 inches times the mile squared elevation correction. It's expressed a bit differently for surveying because you understand 8 inches times the mile squared. We're mixing units there. We've got to have everything in the same units. So the correction becomes 0.024 times feet expressed in thousands. So a mile would be 5.28. And that's squared.
Okay, so that would be the curvature for a certain point, right? Of a imagined radius, right?
It's not imagined.
Right, so but there's many, isn't there?
Many what?
Different radiuses or radii. I don't know what you call it.
Right. So plural of radius is radii, but I'm not gonna punish you for saying radiuses.
You do have many, right?
So
on your model.
The Earth is not a perfect sphere.
Yep.
It is spherical.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes called an ellipsoid in shape. And the 8 inches times the mile squared is plenty accurate enough for point to point of a control network.
Okay, so what is that 8 inches per mile squared then?
It's an elevation correction for curvature.
Okay, and that is everywhere?
In every direction.
Okay. So you saying when they have a tool like an auto level that establishes a horizontal, you say you need to establish a curvature correction, you say?
So In auto level, so differential leveling is a little bit different than trig leveling. So trig leveling is what you're doing with a theodolite or a total station. With differential leveling through an auto level, generally speaking, if you keep your foresights and backsights equal in distance, you can get away with ignoring curvature correction over a short distance, but you should apply it when you're getting into longer and longer distances between benchmark.
What do you mean by longer distances? Do you mean like in your transitions? You know, like 30 feet or something. Oh, no, sorry, 100 feet, 30 meters, something like that. Like
so I know,
if you go above that.
I know that you're a huge fan of me saying I don't prefer going over 100 feet between the auto level and the level rod.
Yep, that's where you take your measurements, right? For anybody not.
I say that distance because that's my personal preference, because the rod gets harder to read the farther away it is from the auto level.
Yeah.
But I don't hold it against someone who can push those legs a little farther and achieve the accuracy that's required for the project that they're transferring the elevation for.
Okay, well, when would you add your curvature correction into the known measured distances? Because you go in 30 feet, right, in between your transitions.
Well, that's an interesting question, Bev. So let's take I listened to you talking to Mr. Sensible the other day, and you said something about a mile along the canal. Let's just use a mile. Right?
Can you like make it fully right? Because although you may have heard me talking to Mr. Sensible, the other people listening, they might not have heard what I said to Mr. Sensible. So,
well, I'm not going to present your entire thesis for it, but you said that you were running a level run for about a mile.
Are we talking about my test now, or are we still on that initial question?
I'm using your words with Mr. Sensible as an example.
Okay. So can we talk about the test in a minute then?
I would like to finish what I'm saying right now.
Okay.
So let's just say you have a level run going a mile. To determine if you are accurately transferring that elevation, you should also run the traverse down that canal with a total station. Trig level.
You just close the loop and go back to the beginning, right? That's what you do.
But you want to check and see that you've done correctly.
Yeah, you just do it multiple times and return the loop to close the loop at the end, right?
Try it again with another piece of equipment. Compare the two methods.
Yeah, you could do it 100 times with the same piece of equipment as well, couldn't you?
Then
constantly getting more accurate every time. Try it with different bits of equipment. Get different people to try it with different bits of equipment. Yeah.
And then try it again with sub-centimeter survey grade GPS.
You'd try it with all sorts, couldn't you?
Compare all the methods.
Yep. To establish a horizontal.
That doesn't establish a horizontal.
No, that's what the surveying techniques would be doing, right? You would be establishing a horizontal frame of reference, right? That's what the surveyors do, right?
At that point where the auto level sits, that establishes a horizontal plane.
No, you take a benchmark from one end and you transverse it as a horizontal plane to make your benchmark at the other end, right? So you find a known benchmark and then you move that to an unknown to make the unknown known. Yeah.
Let's suppose you have a benchmark at one end of your mile, and let's just say the elevation is 100 feet, just for the sake of argument.
No. We're doing it at the side of a canal, like, so if we're talking about my test, like you were saying with Mr. Sensible. So it's at the side of a canal. Now everyone can imagine this. Well, don't know if everyone can imagine what the canals in the UK are like, but you know, everybody knows a stretch of water that's a steady body of water that they can imagine at the side of it, right? So we're banging a post in at the side of the canal, let's say 1 meter, and we just put a mark on it.
1 meter from the canal, or a meter above the water?
Well, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Well,
we're just banging a post in. We're putting a mark on it. That's it. And then we are going to say that is our mark. That's just the mark what we're going to do. We're going to transfer that mark onto another post, one at half mile, and then one at the full mile again. So
in that case, you are transferring an elevation. You're not transferring a horizontal line.
But that's the tools is a horizontal, right? The auto level that we're going to use to transfer that thing through differential leveling techniques, right? That would just transfer the horizontal mark from in the middle point and the end point, right?
You're transferring an elevation. You're not drawing a horizontal.
Horizontal.
Line.
Yeah, it's a horizontal.
From end to end, it is not horizontal.
Yes, it is.
No, from one end of the mile to the other end is not a horizontal
line. Are you
line.
saying an auto level would not establish a horizontal?
I'm saying that differential leveling techniques done properly will account for curvature automatically when you keep the foresight and the backsight relatively short and equal through the entire level run.
Right. Well, we are asking these people, these surveyors, to make a horizontal line, right? Particularly, we're not saying level. We're not saying curved. We're not saying anything. We are particularly saying a horizontal line of reference.
You're asking surveyors to transfer elevation.
Sorry?
You're asking a surveyor to transfer an elevation when he uses or she uses
What is your understanding of elevation then? Is it's a vertical distance above the mean sea level, right? Mean sea level being your reference datum.
It could be any vertical datum you want. It could be a made-up datum if you want. If you want to say that the ground next to the canal was 100 feet,
I put a make-up mark on the side of the post, right? And then you're saying, no, that's different in elevation. So I'm just establishing now the canal that has the water level within it at the side of where we've put this post has an elevation, right? Now that elevation, let's say it's 50 feet, right? It's 50 feet as a vertical distance above that mean sea level, right? That's what it is. It's established. They established the mean sea level at
I don't know if it's above the mean sea level or not. It's just a number.
Well, that's what they do in the UK. I mean, well, I can only speak for the UK.
What's the name of the datum that they use in the UK?
Sorry?
What's the name of the vertical datum they use in the UK?
It'd be the mean sea level, don't it?
There's an actual name. There's an actual name for it.
Well, it's the 0 mark, right?
No, there's a name for the vertical datum in the UK.
That is where they zero elevation.
Bev, there's a name for it. Could you tell us the name for it, please?
It's the datum, the 0 datum.
Yeah, there's a name for this.
Mean sea level
Bev,
newbie.
Let me give you an example.
UK.
Let me give you an example. In the United States, they use NAVD 88. That's a common one. That's the name.
Geoid, right? That's your geoid model.
That's the
I'm
name.
not talking about that. I'm just talking
Stop
about
interrupting me and listen.
Mean sea level.
Stop interrupting and listen, Bev. This is the vertical datum that's used in the United States. Okay. What's the name of the vertical datum that's used in the UK? Just one of them, maybe. There's probably a bunch.
No.
Okay, so you're talking without knowing what you're talking about. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Where it is established and where it was established. It used to be in Liverpool.
I'll look it up for you. I'll look it up, and then in the future you could actually be informed about it. But go ahead, you two, keep going while I do this for you.
So Bev, if you have
it's a vertical height above that datum, right?
If that's the datum you're referencing.
Yeah.
If that's the datum you're referencing.
Well, when it says on the maps 50 feet, right, it means 50 feet elevation as a vertical distance above that mean sea level, right? That's what it means.
So you're trying to just make a 50-foot elevation mark at the other end of the mile.
The elevation that you read on maps everywhere is a vertical distance above the mean sea level, which would be a 0. That's your zero datum, right? That's why it's 50 odd feet or 50 feet. It means 50 feet above the zero. They establish a zero somewhere, right?
Yes.
And when you read elevation, it is a vertical height above that datum.
Right.
Okay, so elevation now, right? I say that's a horizontal. Right? Do you say that is a horizontal or not?
You're saying
that
what? You're
initial
saying what is a horizontal?
datum, the datum that you use is a horizontal datum.
No.
No. Okay. So when I see 50 feet elevation, I see it's a 50 feet vertical distance above a horizontal, because the vertical means you establish a horizontal, a flat base, and then measure perpendicularly from that horizontal to your other one. And that's where your line is, right?
So Bev, like I said before, the Maine surveyor is a surveyor. So you don't tell him what to do. It's best for you to just ask, how do you do it? And then he can tell you. Hold on, let me finish my sentence before you interject. Well, how about you ask him what they do, and then he can tell you what surveyors actually do. Okay.
He doesn't seem to know, though, McToons.
Oh, he absolutely does. You're very confused about it, though, and you're trying to interject what you imagine he does into it. So you should listen and learn. If you learn, then you might progress.
Have you given me enough time yet, or not?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. So are you going to answer that then? Elevation. It is a vertical height above the datum.
It's a height above the datum. I'll agree with that, but the datum is not horizontal in the ones that I use.
It's a vertical height, though, right? That's what you measure. When you measure with your measuring rod, you are measuring a vertical. It's no good if your wad's wandering about, right? Right, it has to be vertical, doesn't it? Whenever you look through an auto level or whatever over your 30 meters, right? That measuring rod needs to be vertical, right?
The rod guy needs to be rocking the rod back and forth.
Yeah, and you take the minimum distance, right?
Correct.
And then you know that's in the vertical position.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that is a vertical elevation change when you have an elevation change, right?
You're reading the height of the crosshair above the ground where the rod is.
Brilliant. So we come back to the question that we initially started with, right? Is you imagine elevation to be a curve. I say it is a horizontal.
I don't actually imagine it to be a curve. It is a curve.
Okay, well, there's a difference then, right? There's a difference between a curve and a straight.
You mean a plane? A curve and a plane.
I'm gonna save some time right now. I'm gonna ask you, what are your surveying textbooks that you had in your qualification class that you say you took?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't have.
What surveying textbooks do you have in your house?
I don't have any surveying textbooks in my house.
You've put pictures of textbooks on Twitter in the past. Did you sell them or burn them?
Sorry,
I've seen pictures on Twitter that you posted of books that are in your house on surveying. Have you burned them because you didn't like them, or did you get rid of them since you put those pictures on?
Oh, you mean the geodetic survey?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what he was asking about.
No, that's not a book on surveying, is it? It's not a textbook on surveying.
Oh.
Come on, Toons.
Okay.
Bev, I have in front of me Elementary Surveying, 7th edition.
Brilliant.
And it says, datum, any level surface to which elevations are referred. Mm-hmm. For example, mean sea level. You're going to love this. Also called a datum plane, though not actually a plane.
I don't know. You broke up then. Did he break up for you as well?
Nope, he was perfectly clear to me. Why don't you say it again? No, he's going to say it again. This is good. You need to hear it.
So datum, any level surface to which elevations are referred, for example, means sea level. You're going to love this part. Listen up carefully. Also called a datum plane, though not actually a plane.
Okay.
And it has this nice graphic that goes with it that shows mean sea level as an example of a datum, and it shows it as an arc. You explain to me how an arc is horizontal, because you seem to think that mean sea level is horizontal. But here is a surveying textbook, Bev, that explains the principle on which surveyors actually operate every day. Explain that to curve, explaining curvature corrections that must be used. And you are saying it means horizontal. You are wrong, Bev. That's not how surveying works.
Right. Well, you know my test. If you've seen that test yet, can we get round to that?
You mean where you're transferring an elevation?
No, with the water level, right? The whole test, not just a little tiny bit of it. The whole thing.
So how have you established the difference between the results you'd expect on a sphere and on a planar horizontal water level that you think it is?
Like we were talking
that's
about
a good
before.
question. Can
Right.
I have just a second, Bev. I think this is a great thing. What if you tell us what you expect? You know, basically tell us the hypothesis. What do you expect to see if the Earth is flat? And then we can tell you what we'd expect to see if the Earth is a sphere. How about that? And we both know our own models the best, right? So how about you tell us, what do you expect if you do your water level?
I got a model.
You don't have a model?
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
I know that.
I have a model of my
and that's a problem. I know that. I know you don't have a model. That's a problem.
Right?
But so here's the deal. You tell me what you expect to see if the Earth is flat, and then we'll tell you what we expect to see if the Earth is a sphere.
Earth
go ahead.
isn't flat. McToon.
Go ahead.
Topography, surveying, right? Means that the Earth isn't flat. You measure topography. Ask your guy that's pretending to be a surveyor, right?
Pretending.
That's not flat, is it?
Let's be clear, Bev. Are you going to just say clearly right now that the Maine surveyor is lying about being a surveyor? Are you going to say that right now? I'm going to
say that the surveyors would measure topography.
No, I'm sorry.
Now that is a change.
Are you going to say or stop saying that the Maine surveyor is a surveyor or not?
Have to prove
is
that
he
he's a
surveyor,
surveyor, wouldn't he? He would, in order for that, he would need
let's
to
just
know
ask him.
he is a surveyor.
Excuse me, Maine surveyor, are you a licensed geodetic surveyor in the state of Maine?
I am a licensed professional surveyor in the state of Maine.
There you go. Okay.
Are you bound by any ethical code or anything?
Oh, you like to ask that question, don't you?
That's the first time I've ever asked it, to be honest.
Actually, Bev, you've asked it to me on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, you never answered, did you?
I actually did answer, Bev.
I can't remember. Just remind us.
We have a standards of practice which we must follow.
Yep. Code of ethics, to be honest, to the public and represent your trade.
In Maine statute, it is called a standards of practice.
Okay. And you would be bound by that, right?
When performing my professional duties.
Okay. And are you performing your professional duties at the moment?
I am representing the profession of surveying at the moment as an individual.
Okay. Fantastic. So, when we do our test and we establish, first of all, step one would be to establish a horizontal line. Now, can surveyors do that?
We
Over
could
a
establish, so listen, we could establish a horizontal line. The ground will tend to drop away underneath that horizontal line eventually, assuming that the topography is consistent.
So like over
water,
like
say along your along your canal, along your canal. If we were to establish a horizontal line at one end and make that horizontal line stay horizontal to that point where it began, then the ground will drop away underneath it eventually.
Okay, so we establish that horizontal and we make it go past the half-mile mark and all the way to a mile mark. So we have one horizontal line across 3 posts. Can a surveyor do that?
If that's what you want the surveyor to establish, the surveyor could establish that, but it's not the same as transferring an elevation.
Brilliant.
Those are two different
that
things.
can be done, right? So that can be done. So we can have 3 posts, one at a mile, one at a half mile, and one at the other end, right?
They'll all be different.
With marks on them
They'll
that will be on the same horizontal.
But different elevation.
Well, just the same horizontal, right? That's all we're
But different.
interested
But the
in.
elevation would have to be different.
But yeah, I don't know whether they'd be bothered about the keeping telling me that we were a different elevation or anything. So it can be done. They can put 3 marks on them posts, right?
They'll all be a different elevation.
Well, they would be on a horizontal though. That's all we're bothered about, right?
The surface of the earth is curved, therefore 50 feet at the beginning
have a horizontal though,
will not be 50 feet at the end of the mile.
You can have a horizontal though. That it is possible for surveyors to establish a horizontal over a mile.
Why would you want the surveyor to do that?
Because that's part of the test.
But what are you testing in your test?
We just the level and horizontal, right? Is there a connection between the two?
You're testing definitions. That's not how we test definitions.
No, this is a practical
You start with
test,
the right
right?
You start with the right definition first.
Practical. This is a practical test. In reality, we've just established that surveyors, like your profession, supposedly, right? Your friends can establish a horizontal over a 1 mile distance.
Bev, do you think that 50 feet in elevation at the start of the mile is going to be 50 feet and horizontal at the end of the mile?
Do I think that?
I'm asking you that.
Yeah, I probably do. Yeah, let's say yes. I imagine that if there is no change in elevation, that means it is a horizontal. Yes, that's what I imagine. Or in fact, I know it.
So here's you know it.
Yeah.
Let's
Can we go
back
to the
up.
test, or
Yeah,
let
me do this, Bev. Let me explain, and you just listen. You listen. Get your ears up here. The wolf. The ears are up. The mouth is shut. Okay. At a point on the surface. No, that's a wolf. Right.
Oh, right.
Mouth shut.
You're bringing the wolf pack out.
Mouth shut. The mouth is shut. Ears are up. Okay.
Is that what the wolves do?
On the surface of a sphere, you can the plane that is orthogonal.
Three-dimensional surface of a sphere.
The plane that is orthogonal to the plumb line is level at that point of the plumb line. Okay, that horizontal plane is a unique yes. Honestly, that was the first thing I said. Yeah. Mouth shut, ears up. Okay. So I'll back it up again. I'll back it up again, right? And then I'll explain it again since you missed the first thing. On the surface of a sphere, the plane that is orthogonal to the plumb line is horizontal. That plane is unique for every single point on the sphere, right? So horizontal is a plane, level is the curved surface, right? Now, what is, can you talk about level and horizontal on a flat surface? I'll let you explain that since it's your claim.
No, we talk about my test and we've established the horizontal, right?
No. We're just covering the math, the geometry part of it here. And so what is your understanding of the geometry?
We're using Euclidean geometry?
We're using geometry here. So go ahead.
Euclidean geometry.
Yeah, go ahead. What would you expect to see on the surface of a flat surface? What's orthogonal to the plumb line?
You mean perpendicular?
Orthogonal is a 3-dimensional. Perpendicular is 2-dimensional. Do you not know that?
Perpendicular is 3-dimensional,
there.
right?
Say that again.
Perpendicular is 3-dimensional, right?
Orthogonal is 3-dimensional.
No. Perpendicular is 3-dimensional. So when
okay.
you say perpendicular, the definition of that would come from Euclidean geometry,
Okay,
right?
so get to it. I'm listening.
So it's defined within Euclidean geometry, and that is 2 straight lines. So you would say that the plumb line is a vertical, and the right angle to it is horizontal, right? Perpendicular to the vertical is horizontal. But your orthogonal works the same as well, doesn't it?
Are vertical and horizontal defined in Euclid's book there?
They're defined as being perpendicular, right?
Excuse me, I'm asking, are the words vertical and horizontal defined?
But they are defined as being perpendicular. Now that is definitely Euclidean definition. 2 straight lines, perpendicular.
Bev, would you be interested to know what the definition of a level surface is in surveying?
You'll probably tell me, but I mean, go back to the test, right? The test would have a horizontal. We'd have 3 points on 3 posts that are marked as horizontal. Then what we do is the next part, right, is it's really easy. You just get some hose pipe, right? And you lay it down by the side of these posts. Yeah, that's easy enough, right?
I'm listening.
And we put vials on the end of them. So we effectively turn this water level big long tube that we'll put a T-junction in the middle of it as well. So we can put it up against each of these posts with the vial, strap them around it, and then we can fill that water level up, can't we?
So are you establishing a horizontal line across that distance, horizontal to the beginning, or are you establishing an elevation, the same elevation?
Surveyors did the horizontal at the beginning, right? They made 3 marks that were horizontal on 3 posts. They did that.
Who's they?
The surveyors that established the horizontal. That's what we just decided before, right?
Oh, so you're gonna hire some surveyors to come do this?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so you're gonna ask
professionals.
So you're gonna put in 3 posts, and you're gonna say, okay, start at this post, and I want you to use a horizontal plane and mark with the horizontal plane that's perpendicular to the plumb line, right? Or orthogonal is the better word. So from post 1
establish that
to
horizontal
post 2
all the way
to
across.
post 3, right? So all right,
no,
so
a horizontal. I'm saying horizontal.
Yes,
same.
So
horizontal.
So now, are you saying horizontal, or are you saying you want the same elevation at each thing to the surveyors that you're
that's
hiring?
the important.
Do you want me to just say it again? I will confirm. We want a horizontal, right?
So you're accounting for curvature then?
Straight line.
A flat plane. Okay, so when you do that, if you say those words to the surveyors and don't try to confuse them by telling them you want elevation, then you're going to have.
Would be confused.
By you, absolutely, because you're, yeah. So what's going to happen then is you put your mark right here, right? You got the pen. You put your mark on the first one. Here's what the surveyors are going to do. You go to the next one. It's going to be higher.
And you go to the will be higher.
Yeah, you go to the final one. It's going to be even higher still.
No, we're just doing a horizontal. What do you mean higher? How can it be higher? Higher than what?
Because the surface higher in relation to the canal that it's next to, right? So you're going to go and you're going to measure off the top of the water.
Forget about the canal.
No, but you're doing it next to a canal for a reason.
Horizontal, right?
Yeah, and according to every surveyor in the world, the first one you'll have a certain elevation. The next one, the elevation is going to be higher for that horizontal
when we come
plane.
Back again, what would happen when we come back again to check the horizontal, right?
You were saying they.
Well, I can do this after them, can't I?
Are you
Are you saying I can't have a go at this? Me and my lads, we're not allowed.
Trying to make sure you get your pronouns right. Is it they or are you part of this? We doing this measuring?
Are
you considering yourself?
Be measuring this? Well, yeah. Me and the lads, we.
So after you
doing surveying, yes.
After
we have an auto level. We do this sort of stuff. Yes.
You're not going to be doing the surveying.
Let's say the surveyors, right? The surveyors are establishing a horizontal. Now they establish it all the way across from one end to the other, and then they go back again to make sure it is all the same horizontal.
I need clarification here. I want to make sure I'm not assuming anything about what you're doing. You asked a professional surveyor to establish a horizontal line across a mile. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, on the posts. I've explained it just like I've explained it to you. 3 posts.
And the surveyor is not just going to transfer the same elevation across a mile. You're asking them to transfer a horizontal line across a mile.
They've never been like you are at the minute. You seem to be a different sort of surveyor than we've ever encountered before. Are you sure that's correct? Right, because surveyors can establish a horizontal, right? You seem to be struggling to understand that.
Why would you want them to, Bev? Why would you want them to?
Why would I want them to establish a horizontal? Why would I want the surveyors to use a tool to establish a horizontal over a mile? Because I've got a test, a water level test, right? And
you're designing it to be inconclusive or to be a total failure.
No, I'm designing. All we've done is establish so far that we've got 3 marks on a post that are horizontal. Now we've laid some water levels at the side of it, and you've gone all funny, and now we're going back to you don't seem to think you can do horizontal. Establish a horizontal anymore.
Bev, you're confused because you think that you could measure to prove a definition when you're using the wrong procedure to find out if the water is curving or not.
Yeah, that's
curving.
Yeah, we
Isn't that
know
what you want to know, Bev?
People have measured the surface of water to be curved already.
Who is that?
Well, the person you're talking to, not me. The other guy you're talking to right now has done that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's measured the curvature of the water level.
Of the water.
So Bev, we're not going to play the game of
water level.
Whether you're talking about the water level device
just a second
or
here.
the surface of water, because that's nonsense.
What do you mean?
You know exactly what I mean. You like the word games.
You know, Jesse said the other day, right, that the water level is measurably, it drops away from horizontal. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So surveyors can establish a horizontal, right?
But why would you want them to?
Maybe we might be checking what Jesse said, right? Because Jesse says it's measurable, right? So let's establish a horizontal. Now, can surveyors, professional surveyors, the ones that actually get paid to do a job, right? Can they establish a horizontal line over a mile?
We can. Why would you want us to?
Brilliant. So you could make 3 marks on these posts that are all on the same horizontal, right?
Those marks would be the projection of the horizontal line at one end of your mile, and they would be at different elevations.
Okay, so you couldn't do the same on the way back again then, is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying a horizontal line and the elevation are 2 different
things. So if we go along this line and set a horizontal, and obviously when you are surveying, right, you have to close your loop to make sure for accuracy and error checks, right? So you close your loop and you want to establish a horizontal back again, right? Because it's a tool to establish a horizontal, right? That's what the tool is. An auto level, right? So you establish a horizontal one way, and then you come back to close your loop and establish a horizontal back again. Now, would you be getting like somewhere near 0? Or hopefully to be getting like somewhere near like a millimeter? I would, hopefully, anyway.
A millimeter?
What about you?
Well, Bev, there is a difference between reading to the nearest millimeter and being millimeter accurate.
Nice obfuscation. What about the closing the loop question on the horizontal?
Oh yeah, you need to run the both directions.
Okay, so then we would
differential
check.
leveling run.
Yeah, we'd check then, wouldn't we? And we'd have 3 marks on these 3 posts, all on the same horizontal, right?
Bev, I'm not sure why you want to establish a horizontal line over a mile.
Can be done though, can't it?
You really want to just transfer the same elevation across the miles. What you want to do? They're 2 different things.
No, it's a horizontal, right? We want to establish a horizontal. Yes,
I keep
That's
asking
definitely.
you why.
We want the surveyors to establish a horizontal.
I keep asking you why you want to establish a horizontal over a mile. Because you really want to be transferring an elevation because Earth's surface is curved. You're testing to see if it's curved. You're going to have to start out with the same elevation at all 3 points, not a horizontal line that's horizontal at the beginning.
We need to be able to check that the water level surface, the one that Jesse Kozlowski, is he your mentor? Jesse.
Yeah. Jesse and Larry Scott are both my mentors. Absolutely.
Okay, so Jesse says
we all need
that
someone who has more experience to talk to.
Can be measured dropping from horizontal. So I'm just getting to check that a surveyor can establish a horizontal over a mile. Then we can do is we put water levels up against these marks, this horizontal, and then we can fill it up.
And what do you expect to see?
Well, what would you expect to see? Because Jesse says it measurably drops away from the horizontal.
I need you to tell me what your prediction is. Don't make me explain your test for you.
I would predict the water level being a tool that establishes a horizontal plane of reference would be exactly the same. In fact, I would say and hope that the water level would be more accurate than the auto level.
Do you think that these horizontal marks will be the same elevation across the mile?
We'd ask the surveyors to do it, so yeah, I would hope so. Are you saying once again that you don't think the surveyors could establish a horizontal?
I didn't say that. I'm saying a horizontal and a consistent elevation are 2 different things.
So you keep
if you're
saying
extending a horizontal from the beginning of the mile, taking that line and extending it in the same orientation all the way down this mile, that's going to be different. That's going to be different than the elevation at the beginning and the end.
A straight line.
Do you have a section of canal that is straight for a mile?
Like we have it in between locks.
I didn't ask that. I asked, do you have a mile of straight canal?
Yeah, why? What do you need a mile of straight canal for?
That you said that you have a straight mile of canal, so I'm asking you.
So I'm asking you why we need a mile of straight. We've got 27 miles in between locks, right? So that would be the same.
It's your test. It's your test. You tell me.
What am I telling you?
Don't make me explain your test to you. You explain your test to me.
Okay. So what we do is we get surveyors to come and establish 3 marks on 3 posts, one at the beginning, one at the half-mile mark, and one at the mile mark.
Yes, we've been over that.
Them to establish a horizontal line on each of those posts, the same horizontal, right? Because it's definitely doable, that isn't it?
So all right. To be clear, which horizontal are you going to go at? Because the horizontal point at the first marker, the middle marker, sorry, one of the edges or the middle one. Is it going to be the horizontal plane starting?
The horizontal.
Yeah, which one is it? Is it going to be referenced
plane, right?
to?
It's the same
which
horizontal,
one?
isn't it?
This is a simple question. There's three posts. 1, 2, 3. And there's
Yeah.
a mile between.
There's a
half mile between.
all the way
there's-
across, the same horizontal, all the way across.
There's the first one, the second one, the third one. There is the horizontal plane is for one of them. Which one? One, two, or
The
three?
horizontal plane's only for
Yeah.
one.
So when you
The
give
horizontal
instructions,
plane will go through all
yes,
three.
of course.
I'll
Now
make
when
sure
you
the
give
surveyors know
instructions,
that. The
when you give
same
instructions, hold on.
horizontal plane, yes.
Yes, when you give instructions to the surveyors, they're going to want to know which horizontal plane you want. The first one, the second one, or the third one. Of course they are. That's what they're going to do.
No,
they're going to
only-
say you want a
only
horizontal
as a
plane.
model that think like that. Think like
they
you
want-
think like that.
Yeah. So have you selected the surveying company that you're going to hire yet? What's the name of the company?
No.
No, you're not.
No.
You haven't yet?
No, I've not.
Have you been like asking them and interviewing potential surveying companies yet? And getting prices on them?
Been looking around at surveying companies, yes. We
Okay,
have, yeah.
and what's the
got a special
expected
man on the job? and
what's the
he's, very
expected
good at
budget?
it.
What's the expected budget you're going to have to spend on that?
What, to anybody?
To the professional surveying company that you're going to hire to do this?
Yeah, we do this for nothing. We don't ask anybody for any PayPal donations.
No, I'm not
or
asking
anything.
what you're asking. I'm asking what you're expecting to pay, because a professional surveying company is going to charge you money. So
Yes.
what do you think they're going to charge you for this service?
For the service of establishing a horizontal.
It's just the service. They provide a service. How much are
What
you
in-
expecting to pay for them to do this service for you?
I haven't got a clue yet. How much would you ask Jeff? Jeff, how much would you charge for establishing?
I don't know what the going rate is in
how
Britain.
much would
Ma-
you
maybe-
charge for your
maybe in-
going rate? If
maybe in
say
Maine.
with somebody in down the street that wanted to do it.
I'm not sure. If it
How-
was
how
a
mu-
flat earther or oh wait, you're not a flat earther.
No, not
You're
not
a-
flat earther. You,
you're
you
a-
have different
you're a-
charges, do you?
Topographic.
Within your,
A topographic earther.
You're a universal horizontal waterer.
Nice accent. I could not tell the difference. I thought Bev said that actually.
just
I'm
call
just
us
trying-
a leveler. That'll do, right?
Just no, because you
It-
got the definition of level wrong.
In the live chat, people, do you like the Maine
much-
surveyor, or do you
how
like
much?
Bev's
Yeah,
accent
cool.
better? Just go ahead and tell us that in the live chat. So, how many hours do you think it would take you? Because you'd have to have a couple people, right? And you'd need to go back and forth between the half mile and the 1 mile away,
Yeah.
a little bit. So probably you'd set up somebody with a theodolite on the first post. You'd send somebody a half mile away, and then you'd communicate with them to put a mark on that one.
Do you not know how to do differential leveling?
I'm asking the Maine surveyor what he might do. I'm throwing out some spitballs here.
Tell us
So
how you do it. Like then you'll give us an idea how much it costs.
So, Bev, the thing that is, you're not going to tell the surveyor what tools to use. You tell the
no.
surveyor what they need, and the surveyor decides what tools they're going to use. I can't
Well,
make the
no, well-
determination of what it would cost, but it might be at least a day in the field, establishing elevations, then do some calculations, come back another day, and make the marks that you want.
Wow.
yeah, these are professionals. You know,
2 days work then, Jeff. How much do you charge for that? 2 days.
Oh, I'm
You,
not.
you and your lad, obviously, the stick carrier.
what's the
I'm
going
far too expensive for you to hire me, Bev.
what's the going
How much
rate?
would you charge for the
I'll look
ultra
at,
high class people that you do
I'll
work for?
I'll look it up here. I'll look it up here for you, Bev.
Why don't you tell us, Jeff? What's up?
Because I haven't priced the job.
Well, have a quick price of it. Go on.
No.
Give us the
So
how much you would
two-
charge a normal person, and how much
So-
you would
so-
charge a flat earther.
So 2 days.
Are you a flat earther then? Is that what you're saying?
No. He said he'd charge flat earthers different
So-
prices.
Now, Bev, I have done pricing for software development. So I have a little bit of a background. You figure out how much time it is, and then you figure out your going rate. It's not that hard. So you got a day of book work and a day in the field for 2 people. So you got about 3 days worth of work, right? Maybe
Day of book work.
so maybe 3
Somewhere else.
3 days times 8, right? So what's 3 times 8, Bev?
Pardon?
That's wrong. It's 24.
24.
Yeah, there you go. Good job.
That's how much the
second try. Okay,
difference
so
in drop is
I'm just gonna
on the
guess.
ball is come
I'm
out.
just gonna guess. $150 an hour is maybe a going rate for a professional service like that. So
Sounds profitable, Jeff.
$1,200 would be what you might expect to pay for that.
Jeff to put
For
3 horizontal
for
marks on
a
3
professional a professional surveyor needs to have a certain level of a quality that's guaranteed. They're not just going to come out there and start spitballing stuff and guessing at things, right? They're going to come out there and they're going to do a good job, and they're going to make sure it's a good job. And if you complain, then they're going to send somebody back to fix it, because they're going to make sure they get it right.
Okay. So we've got normally they say that it'd be quicker to just do a GPS, right? But they say that GPS would be maybe 2 inches off.
GPS does not give you level.
It's not,
a horizontal.
It's not,
it does
yeah,
not
it's not
does not
accurate.
give you a horizontal plane. GPS gives you elevation, which are distinct.
Yeah, but we're doing an elevation, right, through horizontal, right?
Well, elevation and horizontal are different.
Yeah, but we're asking surveyors to establish, right, a horizontal.
Yes. Yes.
Particularly, and now they do say that they can bring the GPS system, right? But it's not that accurate.
Oh, I wouldn't say
Right?
that.
Is that right? How accurate could you make it then, Jeff, with your
So it
GPS
depends.
system?
It depends on the length of time you have your setup. It depends on how many satellites you have. It depends on where the satellites are in the sky.
You have to have satellites.
Oh,
Yeah, that's how
for
GPS
heaven's
works.
sakes.
Do you order them in? Would that be a cost process, right?
It's how many
Or
satellites.
Would you just be
it's-
charging somebody $1,000 to do this job when you could actually come and do it with a GPS and go blip blip and do it a lot quicker?
Golden Brisket just checked my work. You're right. It's not $1,200.
Bev, I can't retask satellites.
Yeah.
You have to plan ahead of time.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
So
the
how
way
much
the
would
way
you charge
well
then, Jeff, for
let's
doing
let's
this?
back up. 3,600 was mine. I got the math wrong. So Bev, let me just give a back up a little bit for you, Bev.
$3,500.
Let me back up for you here, Bev, because you seem
Wow, they must be
confused.
coining it in.
You seem confused about
3
how this
marks
works.
on 3 posts.
Yes, so you seem confused about how this works. So let's see. Oh, I think Jeff. We have George
still here.
Natchik in here twice. If you need to go, I know you had something.
Yeah.
Tap out.
I'm just gonna.
You're
I'm
not
gonna stick around
tapping
for
out, Jeff. Come on.
Bev, I have other commitments in my life.
Okay.
So Bev, the Earth is spherical. It's
And
measurable.
Which geometry
I've
do you
measured
use,
it.
Jeff, before you go? When
I
you do
use
surveying? Which
Surveying geometry, Bev.
Oh wow, who did that? Is that
What?
is that a branch of Fight the Flat Earth geometry?
Oh, I was wondering if you were going to bring up Craig. I know
Yeah,
how
he-
much you like him.
He can't go without talking about that. I mean, I could invite him
He
in.
does make
But we
up
got-
geometry, and all of you lot parrot it, right?
No, Bev. I
Yeah,
told you I
yeah.
have surveying textbooks. I have surveying textbooks that explain the geometry involved in surveying. And you can test it yourself and see if it works out in the field or not. Like, the divergence of plumb lines. That's a pretty important thing to understand.
How much do you charge
Especially
for
for your
that?
test. Oh, Bev, all the work that I've done on YouTube, that's all been at my own time that I've donated to educating people that are
right.
confused about.
How much would you normally
water.
cost it then?
I have no idea because I haven't quantified
Sounds
it all, Bev.
profitable.
So Bev, I think you maybe because you don't, you're not employed in a professional field, you probably don't know how this works, but there's businesses that charge an hourly rate, and that's very much independent of what the actual employee
Yeah, it's
gets.
pretty demeaning, that,
a lot of the time,
Who are you talking to? Who do you think
a
you're talking to?
well, I know that you're not a professional. You don't work in a professional career where you work and your time is billed out. I know that. Is that correct? or am I? Did
You
you get a
mean
new?
Yes.
Did you get a new
Yes,
job
I
since?
am a carer for my family. Yes.
Okay, so do
I
you
am. Yes.
do you bill?
Do
you bill hourly?
A joiner. Yes, I was a professional joiner. Right?
Okay.
I got paid for that.
Okay.
And then I went to college and did a technical
Excellent.
building.
Okay, so
course,
here's
right?
so
2 years.
yeah, here's
where
a
we
good
did
question then for you for some.
Surveying and land
Yeah,
surveying.
so
2
here's a little.
years I was doing all of this.
Listen up here for a second. I have
Training,
a clarifying question.
Training
A
with the
clarifying question
qualifications
for you.
within
Yes.
surveying.
When
So I find it a bit demeaning for
yes,
you
yes.
to have a go
now
at
listen.
being professional. I know
Yes,
what it's like.
yes. Listen up.
Unfortunately, I'm a
Could you-
carer now.
Can
I
you zip it
can't
for a minute so that
work
I can explain how these
professionally.
things work? Bev.
McToons. Okay.
Here's how it works.
Pinpoint asteroids in orbit, then hurl y'all thousands of miles an hour towards it.